Ladies and gentlemen, I am the American Spy Fox, and this stupid bitch is Brittany. Okay.
Leave me be.
I am the American Spy Fox, and we're about to bash on Courtney Love. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am the American Spy Fox. Welcome to the channel. Have you ever asked yourself, why in the is Courtney Love still relevant in 2021? And I'm not talking about the Kurt Cobain murder conspiracy. I'm saying, why is she still considered a celebrity? This is a question that I posed, and I posed to Brittany, and I asked Brittany to try to come up with an answer for me. Hole releases its debut album in 1991, Pretty on the Inside. 1994, Live Through This. 1998, Celebrity Skin. And then in 2004, after Hole's split, Courtney releases a solo album called America's Sweetheart. It's the only project she ever worked on solo by herself with nobody else's help, and it tanked. Not even her most devoted fans would purchase this train wreck of an album. So we asked ourselves, how does Courtney remain relevant when she's not even contributing anything to the music world? The fact that she has been stagnant since 1994, some would say, has not kept her out of the headlines. Personally, me, as you guys know, when I read about Courtney Love, I'm reading about things from the past. I don't pay attention to what she's doing now or what she's not doing or why she appears in magazine articles, online articles, why people are still talking about her. So I asked Brittany to go and look up contemporary articles about Courtney Love. And what she discovered is a very good indication of how Courtney Love keeps herself relevant, and proof that Courtney Love has always and still is more concerned about being famous and being in the headlines than having any kind of actual love for music.
So one of the most recent articles I found was from June of 2019 in Interview Magazine, and it's called 20 Questions for Courtney Love, the Queen of Grunge.
Personally, for us, we would call Jennifer Finch or Cap Jellin the Queen of Grunge, but Courtney Love stole the title. Whatever, it's a matter of opinion.
So the first thing I noticed about this interview is that it wasn't done by a representative of this magazine. It's all done by her celebrity friends, who are themselves still relevant and contributing to art, cinema, and music. The first clue of how Courtney Love stays relevant.
Forget about the questions, forget about the answers for right now. Let's take a look at some of Courtney's friends. We have Kate Moss, Kim Jones, Lana Del Rey, Shirley Manson. The only person that I would say is relevant to the grunge era. Shirley Manson was in the band Garbage with Butch Vig, if you did not know. This is weird. Michael Kors. Anybody know who Michael Kors is? He's, I believe, a fashion designer. Kris Jenner, Gwyneth Paltrow. These are all people who are good friends of Courtney. And it's strange when you think about it, when you call her the Queen of Grunge, yet she surrounds herself with people who had nothing to do with grunge and probably don't even like the music. We do have Melissa Oftermeyer, who, as you know, replaced Kristen Pfaff and has been Courtney Love's puppet ever since. And Marilyn Manson. Courtney was known to sleep with the entire band immediately following Kurt Cobain's death. And what does he ask her?
Who was your most memorable sexual experience?
Courtney Love. Somebody told me that in the Ariana Grande song I listened to this weekend. So she's listening to Ariana Grande.
Super grunge.
Super grunge. She names her exes or something. Is that true? Blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't as much of a sport back then. Actually, no, forget it. I'm not fucking answering this shit. And this is obviously an inside joke between Manson and Love. He's saying, who was better, me or my bandmate, Twiggy Ramirez? Who, as some of you may know, Courtney Love went on Howard Stern and talked about how big Twiggy was back in the 90s.
I know that Marilyn was up here, and
Right.
there's a certain member of his band, and
Twiggy.
yeah, and You did him? Oh, he's big? Twiggy is big. You had sex
Really?
with Twiggy Ramirez?
I was on tour. It was the time they should have locked me in my room.
Throughout the article, we see Courtney posing in different attire, I guess you would say. I thought cheetah print went out a long time ago. And we come to Michael Kors. What do you think are the 3 touchstones in fashion and style that people will forever associate with you?
History is funny. I would say that Calvin Klein didn't actually invent slip dresses as outerwear in '91. I did, at least more than him. Then there's this debatable thing about a nutcracker, Veruca Salt velvet dress that has its own Wikipedia entry. It's called Kinderwhore, which is a word I made up in 90 or 91 when I was fighting with somebody about that dress. The third one would be a body skimming charmeuse dress lobbed off above the knee. I always customize them. To clarify one thing, I really never had a pair of steel-toed Dr. Martens in my life, but whatever, I'll resell them to people who really want to believe that. For my generation, it wasn't cool to put your name on a trend, but if you don't put your f***ing name on it, somebody else sure will.
So here we have something very interesting, and I'm going to make a point of this. First point I'd like to make, this is classic Courtney Love narcissism, classic Courtney Love manipulation. People were wearing these things and well immersed in this fashion trend long before Courtney Love came on the scene. In fact, the person that she's accusing of stealing it and putting their name on it is Courtney Love. She's the one who stole it and put her name on it. That's why we're reading an article called Courtney Love, Queen of Grunge. I have noticed that Courtney's way to manipulate is often projection. She will accuse some unknown source. They did it. Someone did it. Some mysterious unknown f***ing entity did it. And they stole it. When in fact, she's talking about herself.
In one case, someone had told me they'd engaged in prostitution, you know.
See, that's what I'm saying. You throw things out there, like someone, prostitution, and a name.
They told me that maybe they were lying, but you know.
That's
hey.
my point. You can't just blurt things out. And Twitter.
Well, I've learned my lesson. It's $1 million lesson, Howard.
Why not close down your Twitter account?
Because now it's all happy cake pie.
Well, how did that happen? Now, do you have someone that reads your tweets before you put them out?
No, I do it myself.
All right.
Why is it so important to you to be on Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh.
Michael Kors is a fashion designer. Courtney Love is friends with Michael Kors. Courtney Love is known to be seen around the world, front row of all kinds of fashion events. This is her passion. This is her true passion. And Courtney says she invented the word Kinderwhore. She invented the slip dress. She invented all this stuff. It wasn't Calvin Klein, it was Courtney Love. As the article tells us, a front row staple at fashion weeks across the world and a regular at Kanye West's Sunday gospel service in the Valley. Love has amassed a pool of friends that includes designers, writers, supermodels, and of course, rock stars. This was something I found very interesting. We call her the Queen of Grunge. Grunge was all about just wearing what you had, not really caring. The idea was there was no trend, right? And of course, as all things, it became a trend. People started wearing flannels. You get the picture. I just find it funny that someone we call the Queen of Grunge is friends with fashion designers, and I looked into that and found out that Courtney often donates money from the Cobain estate and gives it to fashion designers. In return, they invite her to their events. She sits in the front row. Within this article, she even brags about sitting next to Versace at an event. This is the Queen of Grunge.
Buying your way into Fashion Week at Milan is about the least grunge thing I could think of doing.
Right. When I start looking into Courtney Love now and not then, I find that she has purchased her way into a lot of circles, donating money that Kurt Cobain earned to buy friends who are still relevant today.
Grunge was supposed to be about being authentic and being your true self. The more I learn about Courtney Love, the more I realize she created an alter ego.
Another thing that I learned from this interview that Brittany found about Courtney Love is she is notorious for dropping names. She's probably one of the biggest name droppers in history. Let's count the number of names she drops within this one interview. the very first question is asked by Kate Moss, what's the best gig you've ever been to? So you're thinking she's probably going to say Nirvana, and yes, she does drop Kurt Cobain's name right in the very first paragraph of the article, but no, she says there was a super transcendent Whiskey A Go-Go gig in I think 91. It was winter and Nevermind by Nirvana had just come out. I was on stage with the original old school Hole. We were messy, but when we went into the Velvet Underground's Pale Blue Eyes, I think we only practiced it once or twice, we did it flawlessly. It was amazing. She tells us that the best gig she ever went to was her own gig.
That is classic narcissistic personality disorder coming through.
Right, like you are not at the gig watching the gig, you're performing the gig. Try picking somebody else, Courtney. Try picking somebody you watched. Like, I don't know, Kurt Cobain, the first name she drops.
Second name, my friend, Lana Del Rey.
Third name, my friend, Russell Brand.
Fourth name, I would say that Calvin Klein didn't actually invent slip dresses as outerwear in 91. I did.
Fifth name, Phil Collins won the award and I was very rude. I made him beg for his Golden Globe.
6, I went to Michael Stipe and he was like, why are they sending you? That's so horrible.
7, Justin Bieber doesn't even understand that concept. Selling out to him means there's no more tickets to Madison Square Garden. He's a sweet kid though. In other words, I know him.
8, wow, I have 2. The first one happened on March 25th, forever ago. It was Elton John's birthday.
9, I was sitting between her and Donatella Versace.
Number 10, I was wearing these yellow canary diamonds, borrowed from Martin Katz.
Number 11, the next one was in 2008. It was Carrie Fisher and me, and she was like, meet me at Liz Taylor's.
Number 12, I was with Carrie and Debbie Reynolds, Fisher's mom.
Number 13, it was an Easter party and a lot of people were downstairs, like the dermatologist Arnie Klein.
Number 14, there was a picture of her and Michael Jackson. Number 15, they're beautiful women, all related to each other. Editor's note, Love is referring to the Kardashians. Number 16, I feel like Camille Paglia should have saved it for them instead of wasting it on Madonna. No offense, Madonna, but what the fuck? Number 17, we watched the dumbest Netflix film ever called The Dirt, a biopic about the band Motley Crue.
Number 18, we all got our bodies worked on and watched this white rapper named Machine Gun Kelly, and we just made jokes.
Number 19, when's Ozzy gonna snort the ant? Number 20, then the Nikki Sixx character was like, I have a new girlfriend, she's sweet, she's wonderful. Number 21, Carrie Fisher used to say.
Number 22, the costume designer Ariane Phillips recently sent me a very frightening link.
23, it was a talk at Business of Fashion by Chris Wiley, who was the whistleblower at Cambridge Analytica.
24, he's crazy and super hyperbolic, but he talks about how the data gathered by fashion brands was used to help Steve Bannon build the alt-right. We're not even going to bother counting the rest of the names. I'm sure there's more there. The article is linked in the description if you'd like to go and count for yourself or read the article yourself. It is ridiculous how many stories of famous people she tells within this interview. She doesn't even answer the questions. She'll just go off on a rant about some story with a famous person just to get their name associated with her name.
Another recent article I found in Spin Magazine just proves how big of a narcissist Courtney Love is.
This is an article Brittany found from just last week, and Courtney Love talks about her solo record being her great shame. Now, if you've watched the Nirvana series, if you've seen my videos, you know that a lot of people were involved in her early successes. Kurt Cobain, Billy Corgan, Evan Dando lived through this, and Celebrity Skin were very much a collaboration, Courtney with other people. And she never liked giving anyone credit. She would refuse it. Billy Corgan even stopped talking to her for a number of years because she refused to give him any credit.
I came in as a friend. I've done everything as a friend. And now she's embarrassed because she needed my help, and so she's trying to kind of
downplay it,
push me away out of the picture. And And I'm just telling the truth. I helped them get their songs together, and I helped them write some songs.
Oh, I believe it.
Nothing more complicated than that.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
And why'd you have to turn into an ugly thing?
Because she's turning into an ugly thing because she's embarrassed because she actually needed somebody's help. But my point is if I hadn't helped, there wouldn't be an album. So
Right.
what do you want? You want no album, or you want album with some help?
They notoriously, infamously, went on Howard Stern one at a time and bickered back and forth over his collaboration with her and the success of that album.
So the article I found talks about her 2004 solo album, America's Sweetheart, and how
Right.
it was the greatest shame of her life.
Right. Not being involved in a murder conspiracy against your own husband, your shitty record was the greatest shame of your life.
Right.
I had this really, really psychotically bad boyfriend, and I just picked him from nowhere, just plucked him. I made a major epic mistake, which is I let him produce a record of mine. And
America's Sweetheart.
yes,
Okay, so why is Live Through This such a great album?
I have no idea.
She also blames producer Josh Abraham. In her early career, when she was collaborating with other musicians in the grunge scene, she did not want to give credit where credit was due. The people that helped her early albums be somewhat successful. But when she's on her own and has a complete failure of an album, it's not her fault at all, and it's everyone else's problem, not hers.
Right. She has no problem giving credit to someone else when even her most devout fans won't purchase her solo album. And it truly is a solo album. I believe that this is the one time, America's Sweetheart is the one time that Courtney Love actually created an album on her own. Speaking of collaborating and name dropping, Debbie Harry asked Courtney Love, "I'd love to know who you'd most want to collaborate with on a song."
Courtney says, "I straddle it all, babe. I try listening to the American Top 40 on the weekend. I don't know who Juice WRLD is. I'm trying to figure it all out, man. I listen to Ariana Grande's Thank You Next. I've been going out to the Valley on the weekend and listening to Kanye, Yeezus, Jesus. That's super cool. It's gospel, so I have time for it. I like Nick Cave. I like Polly Jean Harvey. I have time for all of them."
In other words, what Courtney is saying is, I'll collaborate with anyone. As long as they are relevant, as long as people know who they are and they're popular, I'll do anything with anyone who can bring me back up to that fame mountain. She doesn't care what genre it's from. She doesn't care about their ideals. She doesn't care if they have any kind of punk rock grunge attitude. And this is who we call the Queen of Grunge. A woman who says she has time for Ariana Grande. Ladies and gentlemen, we will leave you with this last contemporary article about Courtney Love that Brittany found.
Kurt Cobain's widow, Courtney Love, pays her respect to Billie Eilish in a classy way.
Right after the coronavirus outbreak happens, Courtney puts a list of songs that she was listening to on Instagram. Among them, Billie Eilish, who was the most popular artist of 2020.
Billie Eilish.
Of course. And I love it that she has Nada Surf on there. If you guys don't know who Nada Surf is, they were kind of a one-hit wonder band to me. They sung a song called Popular. Check it out on YouTube. Basically, Courtney is giving shout outs to anyone who is relevant, which makes you wonder, why does she care what little kids think? Why is Courtney so obsessed with what little children think? It's like she's living in Neverland and never wants to grow up. She's living vicariously through them and remaining relevant, remaining famous through the people she name drops. I have nothing against Billie Eilish, but I would say, Billie, best to stay away from Courtney Love. If you collaborate with her, she's gonna take all the credit and leave you high and dry.